Hi, my name is Elina, and I'm going to tell you what it's like to have two heads on my shoulders. My family used to live in a small village where everyone knew each other. It was the kind of an open community where neighbors just go around and walk in to have a cuppa and nobody keeps any secrets. My parents were happy farming and gardening, but one thing clouded their happiness. They couldn't conceive a child. Some people even said there was a curse on them. The doctors who examined them said it was too early to be concerned and they should just give it time. But Mom wanted their life to be perfect. She went to local wise women who performed rituals to help her conceive. Dad didn't really approve, but he tried to keep an open mind. Eventually, Mom told him the awesome news. She was finally expecting a baby. Dad was overjoyed. He bought a huge doll for Mom, saying they'd have a daughter who'd look just like the most beautiful woman in the world, my mother. As they prepared for my birth, they arranged a bedroom for me, bought a shiny new crib and tons of fancy little things. Finally, Mom went to the hospital for her labor. Dad was beyond himself with excitement. He was pacing the hallway waiting for a baby to cry behind the closed doors. As soon as he heard it, he ran up the stairs only to overhear a nurse saying she had never seen a child like this. She had been working there for over 40 years, but this was something unprecedented. Dad banged on the door and demanded to see the newborn. As he bent over the child, his face was twisted with horror. He expected to see anything but that. Poor Dad, a two-headed creature lay before his eyes. Each of its heads was making a squeaking noise and a third arm growing out of its chest was making grasping movements. Can you imagine how shocked my parents were? The horror! Dad went white in the face and he yelled at Mom that her wise women with their rituals were to blame. Mom was at a loss for words, crying. That was the last time when she saw my father. The two of us spent many happy years together, 3 of us actually. My sister and I got along well enough with just one body to share. When we were just born, they offered Mom to remove one of us, but she said that was murder. She gave us one name and took us back to the empty house. They did remove our third arm at birth as it wasn't really functional. So we had 2 arms, 2 legs, and a perfectly working set of internal organs. We led a normal life. Of course, we were the talk of the village, of the entire region even. Our closest neighbors got used to us eventually and they did their best to be respectful. Other people mostly tried to treat us like a regular person too. Mom refused to admit there were 2 of us and she'd just call us daughter or Elina singular. We never really argued with her even though we never doubted we weren't the same person. Occasionally, we couldn't agree on something or wanted to do different things. I like drawing and my sister loves music. So we'd set up a schedule. First, I'd draw a picture I saw in the morning. Then my sister would play the piano. We had no choice but to tolerate each other. As they noticed our talents, our teachers invited us to exhibitions and competitions. People admired my paintings, and my sister's original music was the accompaniment for every school event. This was our dual hobby, piano and painting. Our art teacher arranged exhibitions in the nearest big city, where our paintings found buyers. Our music teacher recorded CDs with our compositions, which made great gifts for our friends and family. You're probably wondering whether we knew love. The answer is yes! Except our preferences didn't match. I'd fall for one boy and my sister for another. We'd fight and one of us would always end up in tears. Mom would come into our room to console us. She'd say, "My girl, you have to make peace with yourself. If your thoughts happen to dwell in 2 different heads, you just have to wait for them to align. Don't rush it. Surely you'll find your heart's desire and be happy one day." So one day we met our former classmate at a local cafe. George went away to live in a city when we were still in school. He was so happy to see us, he gave each of us a peck on the cheek. We went for a walk in the park and we discussed his city life for hours. George told us all about his achievements, pursuits, and plans. He said he never forgot us and he'd wanted to reconnect for a while. We chatted for so long nightfall caught us by surprise. Neither of us wanted to say goodbye. When we got home, we couldn't even sleep. My sister and I spent the night discussing our date and sharing our thoughts. We had never liked the same guy before. That was how we started dating George. The summer went by. After our boyfriend went back to the city, we were depressed. We were worried George would never come back to us. Every night we'd turn our heads in opposite directions and cry ourselves to sleep, quietly so Mom wouldn't hear. We felt it was our only opportunity for happiness, the first and only time we fell for the same person. We loved him. One afternoon there was a car at our gate. The man we loved got out of the car and ran to the door. We threw our arms around his neck. George reached into his pocket and produced 2 little boxes with 2 wedding rings. That was how Mom finally had to admit there were 2 of us. We're married women now. Our husband never disagrees with us. He says he could never beat the 2 of us in an argument. He loves us both equally. We'd like to say everyone has the right to be happy. You just have to have faith in yourself and never lose hope.
Would you like to see more episodes? Support us by hitting like and subscribe. If you want to see your story in one of our videos, send it to this email address.